Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Tougies Take podcast. I am back again, once more, with Mr. Endo Mills, number one Arizona Coyotes fan.
They took our goalie. They took our Richie, but we took their bunting. So, yeah.
Fair trade.
Yeah, fair trade.
And of course, as he is every Friday, Mr. Sin for the win is here. Sin, you have a habit of missing every big show.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
No, it's fine. It's fine. I'm not, It's not even a big deal. I'm cool with it. No, just kidding.
Yeah.
It did kind of suck. I was like, whatever. Maybe it'll be like some of the previous couple year deadlines where like everyone's expecting cool shit to happen and like nothing cool happens. No. This year everything happens. So
Well, quickly then, number one, how's your week been? And secondly, your thoughts then on the trade deadline since you weren't able to join us on Tuesday's show. I will say, though, really quickly again, for anybody that didn't listen to Tuesday's show, again, Endo Mills and I were joined by Mr. Danny Webster of the Las Vegas Sun, covers the Golden Knights professionally. It was one of our longer podcasts in a while, but we went through every single team. It was a hell of a show. If Sim was there, it would have been 3 hours, and I would have been perfectly okay with it because there was a hell of a lot to talk about. Sin, continue.
yeah, this is to me, this deadline was very much a kind of feast or famine thing, and like there were certain teams that were willing to do whatever the fuck it took, and then other teams which claimed to want to be in these win now situations that simply didn't pull the trigger, that were seemingly waiting around for things to happen. So it's not so much specific moves that really kind of gets me. It is because it's certain teams making those specific moves. And like off the cuff, I mean, the Florida Panthers, the Tampa Bay Lightning, and then a couple sneaky ones too. I think the Wild had a really, really good trade deadline.
Jacob Middleton.
Yeah, first of all, Jake the fucking Stash Middleton, as well as picking up Marc-Andre Fleury. I mean, huge. Also, I think the Penguins had a really good move that kind of flew on. Well, it didn't fly under the radar to me because there was another team interested in it that I was really hoping wouldn't get their hands on Rickard Rakell, and then they didn't, and now they're fucked, which is awesome. And I hope, is that on the docket here? Yes, it is. All right, I see it. All right, I'll hold my comments till then. But yeah, I think it was great. I think
we all know who you're referencing.
Yeah, some of the losers of this trade deadline, at least on paper and with lack of moves made, Toronto, Boston, sorry. And hold on, I had another one in here that I was going to say we're taking some L's here.
I love how you mentioned Toronto. You didn't say sorry, but when you mentioned Boston, you said sorry. I love it.
Well, I mean, you're in constant state of pain, so I feel like this is normal, and it's just adjusted to it. Ah, shit.
Yeah, fair point.
You know, whatever. I can't even remember who had the.
We'll jog your memory a little bit later on.
Oh, the Blues. I do not like the Blues.
Fair.
I did not like the Blues deadline. I think they got Yzerman really, really hard.
Oh, you don't like overpaying for Nick Leddy?
No, absolutely not. I think that's I mean, again, yeah, like it makes. I don't know. I guess like at times it seemed like, oh, the market's really high for defensemen, but then it wasn't like that, and then the Blues were like, actually, it is. Here's all this shit for Nick Leddy. I don't know, but yeah. Would you rather
pay what the Blues did for Nick Leddy or pay what the Panthers did for Ben Sherratt?
Oh, yeah, that's tough because the Panthers are in a much better situation. In which case, they can definitely afford to kind of do that for Sherratt. I honestly, like, Panthers, they are like the team to beat Tampa. I really feel like that. And they completely went all in. I mean, it's insane. Was it Giroux, Domi, Sherratt? Like, what the hell? How? Like, where do these guys? I'm like, where did this guy play?
Domi ended up in Carolina, but the Panthers did
technically.
It was the 3-team trade. Yeah, they retained salary on Max Domi.
Yeah, I had that mixed up. Yeah, that's right.
Cap Friendly will show it as like, oh, Domi went to them. It's Cap Friendly's kind of weird with 3 teams.
I was trying to catch up on that. Okay. Now I remember. Again, why does Carolina need Max Domi? That's another one. I don't know. I didn't. Carolina didn't stand out to me too much. Like, Max Domi's okay, but if that's all you're bringing in, really. Meh. Anyway, it was a busy ass trade deadline. I'm already forgetting half the shit, but yeah. As for my team, I mean, it was okay. It's still like there's still Like, what are you doing? I don't understand. Like, hey, let's sell Middleton. Let's take in Capo Kakinen. And I'm like, it's the same thing. It's the same thing. Like, I get it. Capo Kakinen, mid-20s goaltender. This is the time where they start to break out. Sharks are looking to have another Toskala, Nabokov, Kiprasov, but very much a internet rip version of it, if you will. So
we have Nabokov and Toskala at home.
Yeah, the Nabokov and Toskala at home is Aiden Hill and Capo Kakinen. James Reimer's great. I'm kind of surprised they didn't sell Reimer.
He's gone in the offseason, I'm sure. They're going to run with the 25-year-olds.
Yes, he's gone with the 1 year left, and I'm hoping they do it in the offseason before perhaps he regresses next year. But yeah, that's like the weird thing about the Sharks. It's like the exact mirror of the situation that they're in real life. Hey, are we rebuilding? Are we competing? We can't do both, but let's try to do both. And that's what they did at the deadline, and I don't know, man. But other than that, yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot to try
Avs
and process.
Didn't have a bad deadline either, but yeah, there's a shit ton of moves. Like, that's why I wish I was on the show, because again, I'm trying to just catch up with everything, getting them all confused in my head, whatever. It was a crazy cool deadline, and I was actually on Twitter for all of it. It's been a while, but that was fun.
Yeah, you've been sticking to Instagram, being like, hey, look at me, I'm an outdoorsman.
I am.
It's good for the mentals.
It absolutely is. I've discovered Twitter is like the most depressive social media outlet there is. It's kind of nuts. And maybe it's just the way it's set up, how you just read everyone and everyone just hates life. I'm like, wow, okay.
It is the worst. It is, oh my god. But you know what the worst part about it is? It's like the most easily trafficable, as in like the track and everything. So it's like the yin and the yang. You have all this like this whole thing where it's like, oh, everyone's like here and it's really easy to put a tweet out. And then it's like, oh, everyone's here and it's really easy to put a tweet out.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. Like, oh, this person's talking. But yeah, anyway.
That app is free, by the way. Twitter is free. And the amount of entertainment you can find on that app, God help you.
I do want to hear some of your guys' thoughts on maybe just your specific teams. Like, I don't think Toronto or Boston really had a good trade deadline at all, but I want to hear your thoughts.
I was going to say, I do think we have a Bruins and Leafs section coming up here, so we'll get to that, cool. I think, in a little bit. I'll make you wait only a couple of minutes, actually.
This always happens when I miss a big show. I come in, and then I'm like, you know what? Let me direct this fucking podcast. Screw all the work you just did putting this sheet together. Let me ask the questions.
It's a natural segue. It is. It's a natural segue, but I'll allow Endo to speak before we mention that we got some bills to pay.
Yeah. I'm quickly making a meme for when we get into our section, when we talk about, like, obviously we're going to talk about the Leafs because of their situation and everything that happened there. Let's just say it's going to be really, really funny. Hopefully.
I hope so. With that, though, like I said, hey, before we get into kind of the meat and potatoes of this show, I have to mention, as always, this podcast brought to you by our friends at Manscaped. You can use code Tougie at checkout for 20% off your order and free worldwide shipping to get the best tools for the job from your friends at Manscaped. Head to toe, they got you covered. Treat yourself right. Endo Mills, we know this. Sin, we know this. They got everything. Doesn't matter if it's your face, if it's your balls, you got to shampoo that hair. They have deodorant, and it's circular.
It's the best.
A circular deodorant.
Oh my god.
And it's amazing.
No, it's so good. Like, I'll be sitting here on my desk because I'm working from home and I'm like, oh, I smell. And I'm like, you know what? I don't want to take a shower right now. I'll go put some deodorant on. I just roll it on. It rolls. It's literally spherical.
I will just like to say the ball trimmer, which works on all loose skin. Any ladies out there who like to maintain, it is very much vetted for. And you know what? The best thing is it doesn't suck and it's not colored pink, because who the hell knows why women's razors suck. It's just very weird. But yeah.
Women.
It's true.
It is very true. I mean,
slap the colored pink on it. And
check out the ball trimmer for your non-balls.
There you go.
You call it the hedge
trimmer.
Have to do. Hedge trimmer. There you go.
I care about the 5% of women who actually listen.
There you go. Again, go to check out manscaped.com, 20% off free worldwide shipping with that. We have some viewer questions here today, and we're going to work in some into kind of our larger talking points on the day. But we kick things off here, and again, a friendly reminder, you can get your questions in over on the Discord, link in the description, whether or not you're watching or listening to this podcast. Join up on the Discord, viewer questions section right up towards the top. First question comes from Moneyman229. What kind of dinosaur do y'all think you are?
Rar XD. That's what kind of dinosaur I am. I'm an emo
Oh my
sore.
god.
Oh
God.
I'll think on.
I don't know if you can top that answer. I think you're good. I think you're good. And although I do love if you Google RAR XD, the top thing is people also ask, what does it mean to be RAR XD?
Oh man.
Oh god.
It's not a meaning, it's a way of life.
Oh,
You only
God.
RAR XD once, and then you regret it.
We've reached the point where Generation Z search hits are coming up more than ours. So.
Oh, dude,
yeah.
you know what in the past month or so, the girlfriend and I just realized, do you realize how long it's been since, like, Chuck Norris memes were a thing?
Yes.
Like,
It
we
was-
were thinking
oh my
back to, like,
God.
the early stages of, like, YouTube in, like, 2007, 2008, 2009.
It was World of
It's just,
Warcraft
like, how,
for me. Like
Holy
a certain region
crap.
that you would go to, it was the Barrens. It was
Mm-hmm.
like the biggest meme fucking section, at least for the Horde. I don't know what it was for Alliance, because back in my day, you couldn't be that you couldn't switch factions on a server, at least PvP server. But anyway, yeah. So the Barrens chat was literally just Chuck Norris jokes constant. Like it was incredible. Yeah. So that's around 06, 07.
God.
And that's how it was, and that's how we liked it.
Damn right.
The kids these days would never understand.
15 years ago, by the way. I don't know how I feel about that.
Whew.
God, I was.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, bro.
15,
Yeah.
Ooh. 15 years. Let me do some quick math.
Whew.
Okay, I think that
YouTube
was-
is almost... YouTube's 17 years old, man.
Yeah.
Power thirst.
Fuck. Oh, my God.
Man,
It's like I'm old enough. Like, dude, I'm old enough to remember, like, my Twitch account was made when the site was still Justin TV.
What?
That is how old my
Wow.
fucking Twitch account is.
I didn't even know it was anything but before Twitch.
Yeah, it started off as Justin TV, and it was similar to what it is now, but it wasn't specifically video games.
Huh.
And so people like me who are massive wrestling nerds, that used to be a good hub for illegal wrestling pay-per-view streaming.
So you're saying
know.
that the gamers actually co-opted the e-girls site and not the other way
Yes.
around.
Yes.
Oh my
100%.
God. It's a coup. It's a coup. They're running a coup. They're taking it back.
That's the real Gamergate.
Okay. Let's be. I did not expect a Gamergate reference to be on this podcast, but then again, I don't expect anything to happen on this podcast.
You know what? I'm a mysterious fucking guy, and that's why you guys have me.
Sin brings it when he knows he's only going to be here once a week.
Yeah.
I don't
gotta
phone it
pad
in. I don't phone it in, people. Here, this is authentic greatness that you're witnessing. Or
God, so Endo Mills, what type of dinosaur are you?
I'd be a Stegosaurus.
That was my answer. Fuck you. You stole it.
Was it because of my first thought was like, because we're talking about old internet stuff, was As Stuff movie, where it was all random stuff like that, like Tom Scott way back in the day. And it was just random
Yeah.
humor. And one of the just takes this step, is like, I am a Stegosaurus. It's like
Good old
such
days.
random humor. I love it. Maybe it'd be a
God.
pterodactyl instead.
But I'm a pterodactyl.
good old Petrie.
God, I would have said Stegosaurus too, just because it's like, leave me the fuck alone. But I got a barbed tail. I'll club you to death.
Yeah.
Shut the fuck up and leave me alone.
Just
Let
go
me eat
with-
these leaves.
If you want to leave me alone, you got to go Ankylosaurus if you want that slight variety. That's the one with the actual club tail and like the fucking turtle shell,
true.
like a snapping.
Dude, I used to be such a dinosaur nerd when I was a kid.
I had one of
and
those
then all the information came out about like this one didn't exist, this one didn't exist, this one had feathers, this one didn't exist. I don't even know anymore. All that information just
now they have like scales. I'm like, what is going on?
Oh, they all had feathers, sir. What if?
And then they're like, oh, they weren't like fighters, they were like lovers, and they would coo. And I'm like, what the fuck? Don't you retcon my Jurassic Park? You are not retconning Jurassic Park. Leave
the
me
name
alone.
itself is scientifically inaccurate because like dinosaur essentially means like great lizard or something like that, or tyrannosaur. Like they're not fucking lizards. Like they weren't even. I don't even think considered reptiles.
They're just chickens walking around.
I'll go Alan Grant.
Back in my day,
I'm gonna go
in the 90s, dinosaurs were lizards, and it was better that way.
Until Alan motherfucking Grant. Well, that was the thing. Everyone thought Alan Grant was crazy when he was like, "Oh, I'm just saying they couldn't. Maybe they could have been birds actually." And motherfucker was kind of right.
Oh my god.
Point is, we don't fucking know. What dinosaur would I be? I don't know, because they weren't even dinosaurs.
What we do know is that the Earth is not 7,000 years old.
And it is not flat.
It's 6,000.
John Hamm is punching the air right now.
Oh my god.
Oh God, Money Man, thank you very much for the question.
Yeah, that went everywhere.
It really did. To every
They're
part
everywhere.
of the internet. Our next.
Sorry, I just saw a commercial for the Halo show, and
They're everywhere.
Have you watched it? Is that
no?
out?
It's on
Have
Paramount
you watched
Plus.
it?
I'm not buying like 6 different streaming services. Although
That's fair.
I did.
It's Paramount Plus, non-plug though. It's incredible. If you're a nerd like me who likes to go back and watch all the old cartoons that were on TV, because dude, they got everything.
Yeah.
What about Bar
man,
Rescue with John Taffer?
I've been number one. Okay, for the more I'm older shows. Number one, Bar Rescue's still great. I still watch Survivor and The Amazing Race because fuck you. And at the same time, like, dude, getting to just sit there, I'm like, I'm gonna watch Cat Dog. I'm gonna watch Rocko's Modern Life. Rocket Power. It's all on there.
Rocket Power is the only one I'd fuck with, to be honest. I was never. My sister was the TV watcher, and she would just older than me, so whatever the fuck she was gonna watch. For me, I'm like, all right, I'm just gonna go play video games. that was my sanctuary.
Yeah, no, it's non-sponsored plug there, but yeah, it's good stuff. Our next question, unless I feel like I cut you guys off on saying something, I don't even remember. It was Paramount Plus. Oh, it was Halo. So you haven't seen it. I've heard mixed results, but it's Halo.
Now.
So.
I don't know what I'm gonna wait for. If it's gonna be like they release season by season, like I'll wait till it's all out to then check it, or maybe just I don't know. I don't like what they did with Mandalorian. Everyone's like, oh my god, yeah, Mandalorian. I'm gonna watch it every week. I'm like, what the? It's just TV at that point, motherfucker. Like I'm a binge watcher. I wait for the whole season to be out, and I plow through that shit. That's why I like Netflix and The Last Kingdom. I just finished that show when season 5 came out. Fuck, it's so.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's definitely something in the last 5+ years or so I've noticed is like it's very tough for me to follow a show on a week-by-week basis. Yeah. I have turned very much into a binge watcher, binge the hell out of it, and then just like, okay, I can't. No, I need a break from this for a while. Yeah. So. Yeah, I feel the same way. I don't know if there's ever been a video game, TV show, or movie that has actually like caught my attention.
There were some really good Halo shorts, like short.
Oh yeah, Forward
Onto
Dawn was really good.
Yes, Forward Onto. I think was that the live action one.
Yes.
With like, they had that was really cool. It was like kind of like the life of the Marines, and then like their station got attacked, and Spartans had to fuck save them. At least that's the one I'm thinking. But maybe that's
Forward Onto Dawn, yeah.
Okay, yeah, they were good. All right, they're not fucking incredible, but I'm a Halo nerd. That was how I literally got into Xbox was because of that game, and it's great for what it is.
I mean, that was the killer app of its time for sure. But I'm sitting here trying to think of like video game movies that I've seen and that I'm like, oh, I still need to see it. Like, I don't know, man. Like apparently Sonic was good, but I'm like,
oh, it was really good.
I think the issue is, like, I grew up, and I know Sin did too, and Endo's a smidge younger than we are, but, like, dude, like, we grew up in what were the video game movies? Mortal Kombat Annihilation and
Tekken.
shit like that, which
Oh my
are
God.
amazing.
They had a
but they're
Tekken
amazing because they're shit.
Yeah, the Tekken
Yeah.
movie was
The
garbage.
Street Fighter movie was terrible. Holy shit.
Like, did you see fucking Blood Rain?
No.
In like 2005. Well, number one,
fucking
Uwe Boll
movie.
directed it, which tells you all you need to know. But yeah, dude, just
You said
brutal.
Uwe Boll?
Yeah.
Yeah, oh yeah, and he wanted, and like he did another movie. He did Payday, and he's like, if anyone does not want like the movie, I will fight you in the ring. And then, like all these journalists came out, and the guy who made like I think it was not Giant Bomb, but like one of the other no, Something Awful. The guy who made Something Awful like fought him in like a boxing match and all that. It was like it's like crazy. It was nuts.
What even is this podcast anymore?
Yeah.
The
What
2000s was a wild time.
Warcraft.
You know
movie
what
was
ruined
good,
it?
even though so many people didn't like it. I fucking
Mhm.
Which
loved the Warcraft movie. It was honestly
Yeah, I
didn't watch
really
it.
good. It was a marvel of mixing, in my opinion, CG with live action. And because I'm a huge nerd, not a huge enough stickler to be like, oh my god, not every detail is like the game. Like, who the fuck cares, man? You know how much shit has been retconned in the Warcraft universe, like over, like who cares? I just like I'm sad because they're probably not making any more. But at this point, I'm like, all right, rehash it, make a series. Look how popular series are doing. I'm like, just give me a series on the first 3 Warcraft games, and I'll be happy.
I think my issue with video game movies, it started with Doom in 2005 with The Rock.
You poor guy, man. You just seen all the shit ones. I haven't seen any of those.
There was Mark Wahlberg as Max Payne.
I did
That
not.
I didn't even
happens.
play
Yeah,
Max Payne.
I'm glad I
don't know.
avoided that. I'm glad I avoided
And then what was it? Oh, it was Need for Speed with Aaron Paul from Breaking Bad.
that. Oh yeah, this is when they
Forgot
released
that
The
was a
Run,
thing.
and like The Run and that were like very similar in the same storyline and everything like that.
Yeah.
God, that was a good game.
Aaron Paul Walker.
I think. Shut up.
Sorry.
Anyway, you can find, I believe, Max Payne 3 on Game Pass. Great game. Go play it. It's a good time.
Oh my God, you really are.
Oh my god, this has been. This has been
I just
incredible.
remember Aaron Paul from like being the one guy like when the Xbox One came out. They're like, "Oh, it Connect," and like he'd turn on everyone's fucking Xbox. Like I'd have my Xbox One on and be like, "Xbox, turn on," and the fucking shit would turn on. I'm like, "Shut the fuck up, Aaron Paul."
You shut up,
So-
bitch.
Shut up, bitch. Mr. White, I turned this guy's Xbox on.
Is he Hispanic?
Hey, hermano, turn the Xbox on.
You want to do business with Tuco?
God, I need to rewatch that show again. It's so
Get
fucking
ready,
good.
me bitch.
And then his girlfriend overdosed. Spoilers! Spoilers! Our
gonna say
second question of the podcast.
Yeah, let's move on quick.
Our second question comes from Mr. T-Larder97, and we're going to kind of combine this in the Bruins, Leafs, and Lightning talk. He asked, with Boston moving into the top 3, who would you rather play in the playoffs, Toronto or Tampa? And shockingly, right now, as of the time of recording, it is March 25th, 2022, the Atlantic Division is Florida, Toronto, and Boston. Tampa's in the top wildcard spot. Washington, of course, locked in. We're not locked into that second wildcard spot, but they are currently there. We know these 8 teams are going to be the 8 playoff teams. So the question of who would I rather see the Bruins play? Let's talk about that and wrap that up into a bow at the end. I want to first talk about the Leafs. Because Kyle Dubas was, well, if we're going to mention old memes, his jimmies were quite rustled this week. They were.
I have a meme.
They
for that.
were. A meme for everything.
You can see behind me.
This is the reason why you watch the video portion of the
This is the reason why you
podcast.
watch the video.
Just let it speak for itself. Let it speak for itself. We'll move on. That's only you don't get to explain it to people who are audio only. That's for the video people. So Kyle Dubas was number one. He called out Kyle Davidson of the Chicago hockey team for the negotiations with Marc-Andre Fleury and the trade talks
Just
getting
sitting
out
there
there.
with a fucking full diaper.
Pretty much. Full Lou Lamoriello. Oh, the word got out. Sorry. But he also mentioned that he was disappointed, as Endo referenced, I think it was he certainly referenced it before, them losing Hari Sateri, as being referenced.
Funny as shit.
Quote, we've had 11 guys claimed, which I think is double what other teams have had taking off of waivers. Now, on one hand, you can say, well, that's because you're trying to send down good players. Which is true. Like, you're trying to send down players that teams would actually want. On the flip side, Elliot Friedman mentioned on the 32 Thoughts podcast, I heard there were 4 or 5 claims for Satari. Jeff Merrick adds that when he checked with teams in the waiver period, they would say, we're not going to claim him, but we hope somebody else does. I believe it was on the Steve Dangle podcast that it was mentioned that Steve himself has specifically heard that, yes, people in fact do claim people off of Toronto just to fuck with the Leafs.
That's great. That's fantastic. They would probably do that with a lot more teams, too, if a lot more teams... I feel like Toronto really has a high volume of trying to send people through waivers.
Yeah.
So, a big reason because of that is because we have such a big depth pool that has been down there for so long.
It's almost like you don't need your draft picks.
Basically, it's gotten to the point. No wonder why we trade away our first fucking our first round picks so often.
Did you this year?
I don't fucking need it.
Nope. Yeah, I didn't think they did.
Yeah, they kept it this year. Like, ooh, the big shocker. Like, congrats, we kept it for once. Like our best prospects have been either from other teams or have been like late round picks. Like, it's so weird to have a team that's like kind of the opposite of like usually, oh, keep your picks and everything. Like, no, we don't even need it. Like, fine, keep your secrets. Like,
to be fair, I do understand where Dubas is coming from. It's probably frustrating, but also that's where you are. You're in. If all the fans and everyone there wants to hype up, we're the biggest market, we're the coolest fucking market. There's all the spotlight on you. You overhype the players. You say all this stuff about the players, and then they get set down, and everyone's like, "Well, fuck yeah, I'll take a chance on them." Or they're annoyed with you, or they're like, "I don't want this team to get good because they're going to be good for a long, long time. Let's continue to try to make them not as big of a threat." Like, I understand both sides of it. It's just funny as hell to me to when the victim mentality shit comes out. That's the sign of a weak fucking business mind. That's a sign of a weak mind, period, is when you break out the victim mentality in a dog eat dog fucking world. And that's what this is at the end of the day. It's a business where you're trying to beat other teams. And Kyle Dubas made a huge, huge mistake, which Leaf fans are going to eat up, and, it'll just feed their mentality. I'm seeing a lot of weird talk about every time like a bad hit happens, like Leafs are like, oh my God, Matthews is going to get suspended. Like, they're memeing a man who like got suspended like once in his career. Anyway, it's a lot of victim mentality at the end. It's what I'm seeing basically. And I'm like, it's not really warranted. And in a situation where it might be like this, there's a very, very valid reason for it when you hype up all these players and have all the spotlight on you constantly. Like, yeah, there's going to be more eyes, more people are going to take chances on these players.
At the same time, there was one man who was not claimed when he was put through waivers. Goaltender Peter Mrazek.
yeah,
Who did get called back up.
yeah,
And was the victorious goaltender as the Leafs beat the Devils on Wednesday.
Just gonna keep
I was
sending them
at
back
that
down,
game.
hoping someone takes them.
Endo Mills was at that game.
Yeah, I got those tickets as a joke originally. A friend of
Expensive
so
joke.
Nick at Leafer. Oh, I got them for free. At Leafer on Twitter said, "Oh, I don't want to go to this game because Mrazek just got announced as a starter." I'm like, "I bet. Send me those tickets." He's like, "No, I'm still gonna go." Then, like, I think I was live at the time on Twitch, twitch.tv/endomills, where I'm at every week apparently now, every day. I'm on Twitter. Sorry, I get a text on my phone from someone saying, on my hockey team saying, "Hey, I can't go tonight to the game. Who wants to go?" And both Paulina and I are the closest people to the arena. So I'm like, if you can't get anyone else to go and you still can't find anybody like 20 minutes too, Just give them to me and I'll go. They gave them to me and I went. Great game. Got to meet Leafer. Nice guy. Very, very sweet. Very, very sweet, kind individual. Game was great. It was very boring hockey. Nothing really too like fantastical to talk about. But I think that's how the Leafs have to play. This is the first game that you saw Giordano and Blackwell. Blackwell was throwing the body like crazy. It was ridiculous. But Mrazek played really, really well. Both of the goals that went in weren't really his fault. One of them was a redirection. The other one was just couldn't get there. That he looked very composed, and I think it was good for a guy like him to get there against kind of struggling-ish Devils team. Nico Dawes in the other side of that looked really good as well.
Yeah, super young goaltender there too for the Devils. I think Blackwood and Bernier are both out. It's been a rough season for them. That's why they went and got
Bernier's a walking IR, essentially. Yeah.
So, talking about the Leafs then, middling results this month, not in the best run of form, still have goaltending concerns. So would I prefer them to play the Bruins in the playoffs over the likes of Tampa or having to play Carolina? Yes. Yes, I would. And obviously there's that history there, which you could argue was a little bit more of a motivator for the Leafs. But in terms of the teams that the Bruins could realistically play, Carolina scares the ever-loving hell out of me based off of what's happened this year. Toronto, not so much. But then there's Tampa. Now, Tampa has been struggling a little bit. They have not beaten a playoff-bound team since February 26th. They are 0-7 in that time, having lost to Nashville. They beat Nashville, and that was the last time, I think. But the teams they've beaten since are Detroit, Chicago, Ottawa, Vancouver, and Seattle. So they haven't been in the best run of form. But at the end of the day, man, you're talking about Tampa.
Yep.
I'm sorry, but they still scare the hell out of me, too.
Yeah.
Sure, the Bruins just beat them, and they did it without Patrice Bergeron, but it's not... I had to throw that in, I'm sorry.
No, I'm
and I know
sorry,
what's going
I'm
on
laughing
there,
at
too.
fucking Endo's background. He It's so distracting, man. What are you doing? I'm trying to listen to Tougie's points here.
It's okay. We got to make it entertaining on the visual aspect as well, okay? We got to add some flair. We're trying a new formula. We got to do something here.
It's beautiful. At the end of the day, it's pretty much how I sum it up. The Lightning still, though, they've been struggling recently. It's the Lightning. I can't not say that they won't turn it on.
Yeah, they're still the defending Stanley Cup champs who have gone back to back. They're still... I don't care what anyone wants to throw in those asterisks or try to for the COVID Cup and Bubble Cup. Shut up. They are a fucking good team.
I agree.
I
agree. And then there's the Bruins, who have had an interesting week. Obviously, they started it off with the Lindholm pickup. Monday night, they beat Montreal in overtime. Brad Marchand just destroying Jake Allen. As I said on Twitter, sent his jock halfway to Laval. And speaking of Brad Marchand, he also got his own cereal this week.
March Munch.
Fuck?
Why? Only...
I don't know.
It doesn't... why? I don't know.
I want to know how that deal came together where it's we're going to make you your own version of Cinnamon Toast Crunch. It's ridiculous. And then at the same time, last night, the Bruins, again, played the Lightning. David Pastrnak, with the hat trick, scored all three of the Bruins' goals. He has been insane over the last month and a half to 2 months. I don't know. He was off to such a slow start. And again, I wasn't, and I said on the show, and I wasn't someone that was going to really sit there and, send any vitriol his way. I think it's pretty well documented. He had a very rough time this past summer with some stuff in his personal life. And it's just one of those things where it's hey, well, hopefully he can figure it out. Holy crap, has he figured it out?
Yeah.
He became the first player in NHL history to have a hat trick account for all of his team's goals in a victory twice in the same season.
Crazy.
Damn. Wow.
That's one of those stats where it's how has that not happened at least once before? You think about that. I mean, granted, you could sit there and talk about these stacked teams. What are the odds that you'd only score 3 goals in a game and all 3 goals by the same player and have that happen twice in the season. But still, it's a crazy stat.
Yeah.
Pasternak already has tied the Chief, Johnny Busick, for third most regular season hat tricks in Bruins history. He's 25, and he's already tied someone like John Busick. And you think about the Bruins history. Now, he and Busick both have 12. Cam Neely had 14. And then there's Phil Esposito, who has 26.
Yeah, I don't think he's catching that.
I don't think anybody's ever catching that. It is understated. And I think it's probably because he went on to play for the Rangers. And shout out to Johnny Busick. He turned 80 years old in February, or not Johnny Busick, Phil Esposito turned 80 years old in February. But it's one of those things where I think it's understated just how fucking good Phil Esposito was for the Bruins. And, obviously because Bobby Orr was a part of those teams. But really quickly, in Phil Esposito's time with the Bruins, 84-point season, 126 points. 99, 152, 133, 130, 145, 127, and then 16 points in 12 games the year he got traded to the Rangers in the middle of the season.
That's insane.
Literally one of the best players of all time.
Yeah.
who I don't feel like gets enough credit, but thankfully, he was inducted into the Hockey Hall of Fame in 1984.
I always have to kind of remember who he was and where he played. And I can't say that about all those other greats. Where Bobby Orr was, where Gretzky was, all his teams.
Right.
If Lemieux and all these other two. Yeah, it's kind of nuts. Phil Esposito definitely flies under the radar when it comes to the tops, and the greats of all time.
Yeah, for sure. So insane for David Pasternak. And obviously, I should note as well, the Bruins have been in a pretty good run of form this month. And I mentioned out of the deadline, my biggest concern, Endo, I fucking hate you, my biggest concern in regards to the Boston Bruins, this is really a visual podcast, everybody, as of this moment, was Eric Halla as the second-line center. That is well documented. That was my biggest concern. Why are you going out and getting a defenseman when you could say that's your biggest need? Because you haven't exactly replaced David Krejci. First and foremost, Hampus Lindholm did look pretty damn good last night.
He's good.
He did. Right. My concern wasn't he's shit. That was never
he's not yet.
The opinion.
It wasn't the biggest need of your team. And you can even argue that why did you need that defenseman? At all.
Right. At the same time, some people have the argument of, defense wins championships and it's a good addition. My concern was, is he still capable of being, a number one level defenseman for now 8 years? That was my concern. Played a really good first game. We'll see how he continues to do over the course of the next 8 years. At the same time, there was Eric Halla, who, has spent time in the middle six, hasn't been overly impressive at some times. We talked about him a lot in the last episode, has had noted injury troubles. Eric Halla has been impressive lately, though. I'll give him that. And last night, for sure, the winning goal, he stripped somebody of the puck right at the top of the blue line and led to the winning goal for David Pasternak. It was an insane play on his part. And if we continue to see that level of play for Eric Halla, I'm not as concerned. So fingers crossed. He has 5 assists in his last 5 games, 8 points in his last 10. If he can continue that pace, I'll be pretty happy. It's a big question mark, though.
He's kind of got some inconsistencies. He was pretty sometimes he was great in Vegas, but then you remember he got shipped off to Vegas, and he was one of the ones that wasn't told by the team. He found out about it to another source. I think he went to Winnipeg first, did absolutely nothing, and then he was in Buffalo, I want to say, and didn't do.
You are 0 for 2.
What?
Sir.
Hold on, who the fuck am I? Oh, I'm thinking of Eakin. Holy shit!
Yeah, you are.
hold on. All right. Yeah. How did Halla leave? And whatever. He's been inconsistent. He was. Yeah, I'll just say that.
Yeah, so he went to Carolina, Florida, Nashville last year. He had, to your point, and it's easy to confuse. Actually, it's not easy to confuse the two of them. One of them's Finnish, and the other one has a fucking bright red mullet. But
You know what?
At the end of the day, I'm hopeful for Erik Halla and that he'll continue to play well. I'm confident Hampus Lindholm will play well as well. It doesn't take away my concerns over the fact that they ended up signing somebody for 8 goddamn years who's not a number 1 defenseman.
March Munch, everybody. Sorry.
Oh my God, dude.
He's having the time of his life today.
Yeah.
So, Bruins and Leafs, I would prefer at this point. I'm still fairly confident heading. I'm a little bit more confident heading into the playoffs if this is the level the Bruins can play at.
Yeah.
If we're going to see this version of Hampus Lindholm or better, I'm confident. If we can see Erik Halla play like this in the playoffs, I'm a little bit more confident than they lose in 5. But there's a lot of ifs. There's a lot of ifs still. That's what it is. At the same time, shout out to Jeremy Swayman, who got a tripping penalty in that Lightning game. Anthony Cirelli tripped over his blocker while his blocker was in the crease, and Swayman got a tripping penalty.
There needs to be accountability for bad calls. It's fucking ridiculous. It gets worse every single year.
Today is the 1-year anniversary of Tim Peel getting caught on microphone. For like, I'm going to even up the calls. Looking for whatever the fuck the quote was. And yeah, hey, nothing's changed. They threw him under the bus. If anyone was going to get thrown under the bus, it should have been him. But yeah, at the end of the day, nothing's changed and nothing will.
And stop asking questions. We don't have to answer any questions about our culture of our league.
Yeah, pretty much.
Rocky Wirt's going to be the new commissioner. They're going to fire Gary Bettman, throw him under the bus nest, and then fucking Rocky Wirtz is going to be
like...
I hate you for putting that thought into my brain.
Sorry.
The funny thing is, like, that's more likely for it to happen
zero
than just
faith
like
in
him
this league.
just being let go entirely. What's his name? Bettman.
Oh, God. Our third question of the podcast. Oh, this is incredible. This comes from AJ. Nope, it doesn't. Out of order.
MJP?
Yeah, no, this one comes from AJ. It's about the New York Rangers. I was going to do the MJP question. MJP, you're coming up, don't worry. This one comes from AJ. It's about the New York Rangers. Has Igor Shesterkin lost the Hart Trophy with his struggles lately? This comes from Sportsnet Stats. Shesterkin has a 4.03 goals against average and an .878 save percentage over his last 5 starts. He still has a .936 save percentage on the season. So my answer to that is no. Although, it does go to show just how unlikely a goalie is to get the Hart Trophy, because if you have a couple of bad games, your numbers look that much worse. So it really is heavily weighted against a goaltender doing it. Given that the New York Rangers are going to make the playoffs, I don't look at another team that's likely to make the playoffs aside from put it this way. To me, Hart Trophy, most valuable player to their team, right? It's UC Saros or Igor Shesterkin. Period.
Hard to argue with.
Yeah.
Hard to fucking argue with. I know Leafs fans are now crooning for Matthews because Shesterkin has had a few bad games. Honestly, like the Rangers aren't bad, but they are so not a deep playoff team. They're there. They're getting there. They're a bubble team, but Igor Shesterkin made them competitive, just like Lundqvist did for years and years and years on end. Igor Shesterkin is a guy who can legit drag that team kicking and screaming into the second, third round. 100%. Like, he's that fucking good. And yeah, he's had some rough games. If he doesn't right the ship, then yeah, he loses the heart. But this is normal stuff for goaltenders. Like, they go through this. It'll be good to see him. He's still pretty young. How's he going to bounce back from this? Does he go full Carter Hart and not bounce back, or bounce back a year later? We'll see.
Yeah, I mean, it is what 5-6 bad games at this point.
Didn't Matthews
in the middle
not
of the season?
Didn't he have a slow ass start to the beginning of this year?
Matthews had a slow start. Mitch Marner had a slow middle. Yeah, like everyone.
So it's like, because it's happening down the stretch to Shesterkin, now we're going to talk about he doesn't deserve the Hart, even though Matthews was absolute ass in the beginning of the season, and the team was still winning.
That's when you talk about consistency in the sport. And do you give the Hart to someone who's been streaky, or who can pick it up after the fact, or someone who's been doing it the whole entire way through the entire season? Because if you're going to give Hart, then I'd probably go like, oh, someone like UC Saros, who's literally carrying that franchise right now on his back consistently.
Dude, Roman Josi has 25 points in 11 games. I mean,
hey, but
carrying
listen,
kind of, but
he's
also,
got the Norris.
Yeah,
He's got the Norris though.
But who's the Josi of the Rangers? Chris Kreider for
Adam
scoring
Fox?
a shit ton of goals, maybe.
Well,
No,
if
I mean
you're
just
talking
in
defenseman,
general.
Adam
Who's
Fox.
the game changer in New York? Like obviously, Roman Josi is like a massive game changer in Nashville. Like,
I mean, obviously, like you have your Kreiders, your Zibanejads,
Yeah.
your Panarins.
but
If
it's
any,
more
like,
by
I mean,
committee.
Kreider has been the most impressive of the bunch, in my opinion, just because it's like, what the hell, this guy's going to score 40 goals.
Yeah, so like my point being is that you can make an argument for how valuable Josi is to the Nashville Predators. I can't really make a like maybe you can even say comparable to Saros in some ways, being that he's a defenseman who puts up a shit ton of points and he's good on the defensive side of the puck, very underrated. Who on the Rangers could kind of match Shesterkin's contributions to the team? That's my point. Like I think you're on point. I think Saros is a great goaltender and kicking some ass and doing a big part for this team, but to me, the impact that Shesterkin's having with the Rangers is just slightly bigger because I don't know. Maybe it's just, I don't know.
No, I don't disagree with the logic. And obviously, like, you have to have this debate in terms of how the rule is written.
Yeah.
Like, the Ted Lindsay Award goes to the MVP. That is the MVP award. Let's be honest. Like, and then you get into the conversation of who's the best player in the league. Let's be honest. It should be Connor McDavid or Austin Matthews. Austin Matthews would actually have my vote this year. I think he has been the best all-around player in the NHL this year. So at the same time, you could sit there and say who's the most valuable to their team. But I view that, I mean, sure, you could sit there and say, where would the Leafs be without Austin Matthews or Connor McDavid? Where would the Oilers be without him? But at the same time, I think it comes down to, would the Nashville Predators be in the playoffs without a Saros or a Josi? No.
Yeah.
The Rangers, though, to Sin's point, they at least would still have one or the other. The Rangers without Shesterkin, they do have a good core, but let's be honest, the supporting cast for that core is pretty damn weak. Mm-hmm. I mean, it got better with picking up Kopp and Vetrano, but at the end of the day, I'd have to give to Igor Shesterkin right now. Still, I don't think he's in any danger of losing the Hart Trophy. I mean, you could argue though too if you wanted, like, oh, he should win the Vezina and the Hart should go to somebody else. So
Who knows?
there needs to be, and we've talked about this a ton. They need to reword a lot of awards,
Yes.
potentially even add awards.
Yes. It's very gray area. Well, just like the rule book. Yeah, it's just the typical NHL style.
Who's
Funny how
to
that
say
works.
the NHL isn't consistent? They're consistent. They're garbage, but they're consistent and they're garbage.
Consistently garbage. Consistently inconsistent.
There you go. Endo, unless you had anything to add, I don't know. You're cringing.
I just looked at the comparisons between the goaltending situation with Nashville and with what's it called? And with
New York.
Rangers.
The
New York.
Rangers.
And Jesus Christ, backup goaltender for Nashville was David Riddick. He's only played 11 games.
Mm-hmm.
Georgiev has played 26.
Oh,
26.
All right.
wow.
Yeah.
Maybe that changes the combo just a little bit.
Yeah,
That's
UC
a
Saros
lot.
has played 54 games with a 2.55 goals against average and a 921 save percentage. Meanwhile, drum roll please, Shesterkin.
I worry.
Saros is literally going to just fall apart.
Yeah,
He's gonna
like
fall
there-
apart.
Can't play a
playoffs.
goalie that much.
No, this
Yeah.
isn't
And-
the 90s.
Yeah, and Shesterkin has a 42 games played, 2.14 goals against average, 936 save percentage. So they're
Such
still
a
very
massive-
close together. That's still really impressive. But for the amount of work that's going on with Saros, he's gonna drop off a cliff. I love him, my short king. But like
I don't know, man. That was a pretty big stat differential. Like a
That's a very big stat.
.14 of save percentage and like a .4 plus in goals against. I know goals against more of a team stat, but it's still impressive. I don't know. Shesterkin's winning something. I think we can all agree on that.
Yeah, that's a good way to wrap it up. Our final question comes from MJP at 1502. Are the Vegas Golden Knights going to make the playoffs?
Absolutely fucking not.
So, obviously, Vegas has had an interesting week as it stands in the standings. The Golden Knights are on the outs looking in as they are 1 point behind Dallas for that last wild card spot, with the Stars having 4 games at hand.
And the Sharks threw the game to the Oilers last night to make sure they stayed 3 points behind them.
Beautiful. Obviously for Vegas, the most interesting thing that happened, which seemed to be almost an impossible situation before this week, Evgeny Dadonov, the trade officially canceled. He will not be a Duck. He will stay with the Golden Knights, as evidenced by the fact that he scored for the Golden Knights last night, which is hilarious.
Funniest thing
even after the social media manager's tweet of "We welcome Dadonov back to the team."
Yeah, like I get the wording of that was so terrible. Like, yeah, I guess we'll accept the league's ruling and welcome back. The vibe of it was just when that account is not posting cringe, it's still cringe. It's weird.
Yeah,
the funny thing is they toned it down. They did tone it down from when they first started. You remember how ridiculous that account was in season 1?
Yeah, that was like they're trying to market themselves. At least it was semi-funny. It just got real cringe after they fired that first guy. Anyway.
The Seattle one is getting questionable. It's like, get your crystals out. We need a goal. And they throw their fucking crystals out.
It's
like,
Seattle, bro. You ever been there?
He's got a
No,
point.
I don't want to go.
Yeah, you do. It's actually a beautiful place. I've been there once.
Yeah, go see the Rain City Bitch Pigeons live in the fucking Eco Center Arena. Love to see it. Actually, you know what? I actually might want to go.
Yeah, I mean, who doesn't? I almost went. The Bruins played there on February 24th on my birthday, and had I not gotten a house in the last year, it would have been easier to afford it, so I would have gone. Obviously, with the Dadonov, the big thing, though, is just, I mean, number one, the reason for the trade being canceled, of course, is that he had a no-trade clause. That the Golden Knights, I guess, weren't as informed about, and then you talk about the reasoning, like, as to whether or not, like, there's some people saying, well, it's more on the Sens, or is it more on them, and it's just, it all comes back to how the hell does this happen in the era of cap-friendly? That's what it comes down to. Yeah. I mean, we as fans, and we've known this because, of course, a decade ago we had Cap Geek, which was incredible. And for anybody who didn't get to experience Cap Geek, it was a phenomenal site. And again, I don't know if we would have ever had what came afterwards. We certainly wouldn't. I don't think I've had what came afterwards had it not been for Matthew. I believe it was West. Interesting last name, Wuest, who unfortunately passed away a number of years ago. But he started all this, and it led to the likes of General Fanager, which General Fanager was around for about a year before the person behind General Fanager went to work in an NHL front office. The Vegas Golden Knights hired him. And then Cap Friendly took over. And still somehow this happens. I don't understand how there could have been an oversight like this as to whether or not, like, oh, well, did he or did he not file it in time? And Danny Webster talked about it on Tuesday, the idea of, like, okay, well, maybe complications with the fact that the league was trying to get the schedule back on track after having it disrupted over the last 2 years. Bottom line is, it's one of the strangest, most improbable things I think I've ever seen.
The fact that it happened to Vegas, the team that has now this pretty stark reputation of not being good to their people and just trading them willy-nilly, and like they've developed that, and like, the fact that it happened to them just... I guess it's not funny, but it's very much on brand at this point. And that's why for me, it's like, it makes sense. I'm not going to put the blame on other people. Like, you got to know your shit. Like, you can't keep treating these as just, yes, it's a business, but there's still humans involved. A business isn't,
it's where they lose
business. Yeah.
It's where they lose the benefit of the doubt.
Yes. Yes. Thank you. It's a good way to say it.
Yeah, definitely. It's just a mess. I had something on the lines of God, I just had it in my head and I forgot it. When I come back to it, I'll just blurt it out
Are
randomly.
these next numbers are they correct?
Oh,
Is that
you know what it is?
Yes.
Yeah, you know what it is? This is the
that
equivalency
separate?
of not. Go ahead.
sorry? Anyway, no. You go first.
No, and make your point
Yeah.
real quick.
This is the equivalency of not showing your work in school.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah,
I can
this
see
is
what
like,
you
hey,
mean.
did you do the thing? How'd you get this result? I just kind of did it. All right, where are the receipts? Like, come on. Like, what's
Yeah.
going on here?
So, Cap Friendly put out this tweet. After reverting the Dodonov trade, we now show Vegas with only $405,000 in usable space in their LTI salary pool. As a result, they would need to clear $4.8 million to activate Alex Martinez off of LTIR, or $9 million to activate Mark Stone. Which is why everyone's saying once this Dodonov trade was canceled, oh, well, if they try to move somebody now, they're going to have to pay a hefty price. And at the same time, if they were to trade Evgeny Dodonov right now, the team he goes to cannot use him in the regular season or the playoffs. For a long time, I think the rule was just regular season or just playoffs. Now it includes the regular season. So they tried to trade a guy. Obviously, he would have been able to play for the Ducks. Now he wouldn't be able to. The interesting thing, and in terms of talking about injuries, and I wanted to bring this up first and foremost, it was a really scary moment with Brett Howden last night. Thankfully, it looks like he's going to be okay. At the same time, Max Pacioretty is out on IR, not LTIR. Peter DeBoer mentioned in the press conference that he has suffered a setback. Now, if he actually has, I hope he's going to be all right. But at the same time, boy, wouldn't it benefit the Vegas Golden Knights if $7 million worth of Max Pacioretty went on LTIR until the end of the season?
Just like
Yeah,
Stone went back on LTIR to get Eichel.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, they basically traded out Stone for Eichel in terms of LTIR.
It's
The
gonna-
problem...
nuts.
We'll never know for sure, but this will bite them if they're doing all this shit. Like, it can't not. It's already started, but like if they keep treating the players like this, all they got going for them is no fucking tax, which should be fixed in the cap percentages and adjustments. But whatever, I digress. That's a completely other different topic.
So again, they are currently outside the playoffs looking in. 1 point behind Dallas. Dallas has 4 games in hand. The Vegas Golden Knights, since Jack Eichel's first game, have won 6 games. The Sabres, in that same amount of time, have won 7 games. Vegas. I mean, you talk about losing Max Pacioretty. You talk about potentially having to put Robin Lehner on IR. This is their depth chart as of 3 hours ago on Cap Friendly. Dodonov, Eichel, and Nick Waugh, which is pretty damn solid. Like, I can't hate at that for a top line. Marchessault, Carlson, Kolasar, Janmark, Stevenson, Carrier, Lesishin, Howden, and Nolan Patrick. Do you have confidence that that forward group can produce enough
I forgot
to get
about
them to where they
Nolan
need to be?
Patrick.
Oh my God,
Oh.
Nolan Patrick.
He's on the fourth line.
Yes. Who has 7 points in 25 games
Huh?
this year.
What a
Is
pickup!
it second overall, Nolan Patrick, fourth liner?
Yeah.
What's
That's
he making?
unfortunate.
Isn't he making
Their
like-
defense
Oh, man.
last night was Ben Hutton and Alex Pietrangelo,
Mm-hmm.
Shea Theodore and Dylan Coughlin, Zach Hayes and Daniil Miramanoff, because you had Nick Hague and Zach Whitecloud both out. Hague listed undisclosed injury, and Whitecloud apparently in COVID protocol. And of course, goaltenders, Logan Thompson was a 918 in 9 games this year. And then Laurent Brossois is the backup, who has an 895 in 24 games, but he is also apparently listed on Cap Friendly as having an undisclosed injury, meaning that their backup goalie might be Yuri Patera, who was a 6th round pick, in 2017, who has a 901 save percentage in 15 AHL games this year.
Oof.
Do they have the depth to get to the playoffs? Like, we joked about this idea last year. Oh, do the Lightning have the depth to make the playoffs without Kucherov? Yes. But does Vegas have the depth to make the playoffs if you are potentially missing Stone, Martinez, Pacioretty, Leonard, Riley Smith, Braden McNabb. I am really starting to doubt as to whether or not they can actually pull this off and make it. I don't think they do.
I hope they don't. I really know that's my bias speaking, but also I want to see teams start being punished for trying to subvert the cap. Like, this was so fucking blatant after what happened. Like, they went over the top with it. They pushed it too far because that's what they feel they have to do, because, you know, they've been trying to do that since day one. They were the Golden Misfits and we made the Stanley Cup, and now they need to be competitive because now they've seen their market. I mean, they should have, as it was seen from day one, it's very fly by night, hence some of the expansion rules. And then, of course, Florida just gift wrapped some very good players, but they're going to be screwed if they can't sort the. I don't know how they sort this. And again, this is even more onto their reputation of treating people poorly. If they're throwing people on LTIR willy-nilly when there isn't something seriously wrong with them, hey, you can't play right now because we got to try to make this cap work, or we're trying to bring in someone else. Like, imagine putting Stone on LTIR and being like, sorry, just sit there for a while. We're going to bring someone else in.
It is technically against the rules for them to do that, and there could be an NHLPA grievance filed. So a player would have to be more along the lines of that. And I think other teams could challenge and be like, hey, make sure that's legit.
Yeah.
At the same time here, like, the West is still open.
It is.
Outside of,
especially the
I'd
Pacific.
say, yeah, so like Anaheim, San Jose, Chicago, Seattle, Arizona, guaranteed out. Winnipeg's only 5 points back of the Stars. Granted, the Stars have 2 games at hand, so theoretically, Winnipeg, Vancouver, they're still in this mix.
Yeah.
Which means Vegas has to not only outduel them, but you're still head-to-head with the Dallases of the world, Nashville. There's a real chance that they don't make it.
And they got it. If they want to not battle for the wild card, they have to pass the Oilers, who they are 3 points behind, I believe. I think that's their best shot, is to try to get into third in the Pacific, because I don't think they're winning
Oilers,
that wild card.
The Oilers have 2 games at hand on them too.
Yes.
3 points up with 2 games in hand.
Yep.
Again, the East is interesting because it's seeding, but the wild card in the West is very interesting because there are going to be teams that miss out, and Vegas could be one of them. Final couple of things to talk about here on today's show. First and foremost, we have to shout him out as always. Joe Pavelski on the Dallas Stars, on pace for 85 points this year. That would be the 5th highest scoring season from a player in the NHL's history, age 37 or older, because he's unbelievable.
Yeah.
And we just talked about the Dallas Stars and the position they're in, and that line of Pavelski, Hintz, and my favorite, Jason Robertson, are just destroying worlds.
Yeah. I miss him.
As you should.
Yeah.
But he might be playoff bound.
Good for him. I hope he is. Absolutely. Like, this is the sweetest thing. Can Joe Pavelski make the playoffs and knock out Vegas? Yeah, absolutely he can. Like, they knocked him out in Game 7, and then the Sharks knocked your asses out, Vegas. Dangling my dice on your forehead. Get fucked.
The Minnesota Wild, worth noting here, Kirill Kaprizov scored his 60th career goal this week in his 116th game. Only one active player took fewer games to reach the 60-goal mark to start their career, and that was Alex Ovechkin. So Kirill Kaprizov is on a ridiculous pace in the Wild, on a good pace to potentially make the playoffs, second place in that Central Division. The Calgary Flames, for as much as we've talked about them doing good things and getting better, Sean Monahan is going to be a healthy scratch tonight in Calgary for the first time in his career. Wow. Unfortunately, it just seems like injuries have added up. I think there was a wrist or a hand injury in there. There was a hip injury. I just feel bad for the guy because he's kind of turned into a punching bag for this team. It's like, oh, if he could just get it together. But I genuinely think, even though the guy is only 27 years old, I just don't know if his body's going to be able to hold up. Obviously, I'm not a fucking doctor. I haven't seen his fucking medical records. But just from everything I'm seeing from Calgary fans, Calgary reporters, literally, like, you know, he and I were born in the same damn year, and it's just the thought of, like, already someone's career might be on this sharp of a decline due to injury. It sucks.
Yeah, it does. I mean, the man he was supposed to be like, like potentially even a 1C, maybe even was for a while, but definitely was going to be like kind of a 1B type guy, solid all around game who was supposed to be like a solid center. It just sucks. And again, when it's due to injury as well, like that's just heartbreaking.
Yeah, so in that 2013 class, he is still third in scoring behind Nathan McKinnon and Sasha Barkov. I believe he actually scored 100 goals first before either of them did as well. Like, he was on that good of a pace.
Wow.
But at the same time, in that 2013 class, it's like you have his teammate now in Elias Lindholm. Bo Horvat was in that class. Seth Jones, Jake Gensel. It's been kind of interesting to see who's gone down as kind of the best of the bunch from that group. UC Saros was in that draft class. So, he's definitely had his impact on the NHL level, and hopefully we're not kind of done seeing him make that impact. Because if he can, if he's not healthy, but, how much can you do? But if he is healthy and it's just a matter of, he can't really find his game, if he finds his game, Calgary can go a long, long way this postseason. So we'll see what happens there. And to end this show, two trivia sections here, boys, because why not? These are always fun. The first one you have some warning about, but this one you don't. Derek Brassard was traded to the Edmonton Oilers for deadline day. He is now one of numerous players to be traded for what is now tied for second. He's been on 10 NHL teams. Is the best way to put it. Now, obviously, we all know Mike Sillinger is in that number one spot. He played for a record 12 teams. Can you name any of the other players that have played for 10 NHL teams? And quite a few of them have been around in, pretty much all these guys I'm asking about have been around in our lifetimes.
Galchenyuk.
Shockingly, no, but he's getting close.
Damn, like that has to be one of them, right? Like the man just bounce. Shit.
He's getting close.
Are they? Wait. Are they all? Are there any playing now?
None of them are still playing in the NHL now, but most of them have retired in just the last couple of years.
Oof.
Jaromir Jagr is definitely one of them.
Shockingly, no. At least not for the Sportsnet graphic. He wasn't in that that group of 10
Step
teams
it
played
up,
for.
Steve Dangle. Come on. It's not him at all,
dude. This is a tough one.
It's a really tough one. I would have been surprised if you guys had been able to just pull any of these names out of the hat, but still worth it. So God. All right, let's. I don't know. Should I give you some hints, or should we just name off some of these guys here? Because it is a really tough one.
I want to get one. We need to get at least one.
Okay, so this first guy, forward, played for the Pittsburgh Penguins. He played for the New York Rangers, the Minnesota Wild, the Toronto Maple Leafs, the Boston Bruins, Sabres, Panthers, Habs, the Lightning, and Sharks.
Forward.
Think of a player who played for all three of our favorite teams.
Fucking Olli Jokinen? I don't know.
Olli Jokinen is one of them.
Oh,
congratulations, you got there.
Yeah.
That's not who I was talking about, but good shit.
We had him
You
for
didn't
like
say
fucking
Vancouver,
2 minutes.
did you?
I did not say Vancouver
Okay, it's big
for
stuff.
this particular player.
Nationality?
He is Canadian from Thornhill, Ontario.
Thornhill?
Dude, man.
I think it comes from Thornhill. Except for
Played from
Connor
2003 to 2019. It's a real tough one. Ended his career as a Maple Leaf.
Ugh.
Stefan Robida. Patrick Marleau.
No.
No.
We were looking...
I don't know.
Yeah, I told you, man, these are tough, but it's fine. Dominic Moore.
When the fuck was he a shark?
Oh, yeah!
I don't even remember Dominic Moore being a shark.
I remember Dominic Moore. He played like an hour as like a Leaf or whatever the fuck it was.
Yep, he did play basically for an
I
hour.
don't remember him being a shark at all. What year was it?
In January 11, 2008, the Maple Leafs claimed Moore off of waivers from the Wild. His debut came against the San Jose Sharks, and then in Tampa. So 2012, February 16, 2012, Moore was traded to the Sharks along with a 7th round pick in exchange for a second.
Ugh.
He played just the first 3 games of the Sharks 2012 playoffs, and then unfortunately, Jesus Christ, I didn't realize this was this serious, but he played 3 games for the Sharks in 2012 and then learned that his wife had liver cancer and went to tend to her. So I did not realize that was going to be so serious. Apologies for that, but that's why you don't really remember his tenure with the San Jose Sharks. That's a real bummer. Jesus.
Yeah.
Olli Jokinen was another one. There's let's go. I think you guys could get this one as well because it is another former Bruin, another former Leaf. He played for the Blues, the Coyotes, the Flames, the Penguins, the Rangers, the Jets, the Devils, and the Hurricanes.
What, fucking Joffrey Lupul?
No, but
Tyler Bozak.
he was a part of the Alex Steen trade.
Brah.
Steve Dangle would have gotten this. It was this player for Alex Steen and Carlo Koliakovo
Fucking
back in
Donald
2008.
Bashir? Matt Stajan?
Nope.
Okay.
Ended his career as a Bruin. It's a tough one.
Cabrel? No, not Cabrel.
I'm terrible at these, apparently. Dude, I don't even...
I know. It's okay. Dude, they're very tough. They're very, very
laying
tough.
back in my chair. I'm just going to relax.
That you are. All right, so this one was Lee Stempniak.
Stempniak! Holy shit!
Yeah. Played for 10 teams.
I forgot he was a Leaf.
Olli Jokinen, Matthew Schneider, Jim Dowd, J.J. Daniel, and Michel Petit were the ones listed on this list. So the ones I knew you guys might have a shot at were more Stempniak, Jokinen, and maybe Matthew Schneider. It's just kind of incredible, like what guys ended up
Matthew Schneider
being there. And I mean, technically, you could argue that Brassard played for 11 teams. He was a Vegas Golden Knight for like 2 seconds before he was flipped. So never played a game for them.
So
yeah, same with Olli Jokinen. Olli Jokinen didn't play a single game as a Leaf. He was traded like an hour later.
And the final little bit here on this particular podcast, Leon Draisaitl, with his 243rd career NHL goal, became the highest-scoring German player of all time. Can you guys name any other members of the top 10 for the highest-scoring Germans of all time?
Is that goals?
Yes.
Fuck.
It's Butch from WWE.
You know what? I'm going to say
there's
Marcel Gotch. He did play a lot.
Yes, he is 4th. I was going to say, there are 2 Actually, Sin, there are numerous players you should get here because there are former Sharks.
Yeah, I know Marcel Gotch has got to be one of them because he's fucking German.
Gotch scored 75 goals in his 636 career NHL games.
Oh, my God.
Oh, man.
Oh, God. So we're looking for German goal scorers. You had Gotch at 4. You know Draisaitl's number 1.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got nothing.
Another former Shark.
I'm trying to just think of who else was German from the Sharks. That's all I'm thinking of.
Thornton trade.
Oh, of course. What? How do I forget him all the time? Marco Sturm. Jesus Christ.
He is second.
Shit. I forgot
that is who Draisaitl passed. He had 242. Another former member of the San Jose Sharks, defenseman, had 74 goals. Was actually drafted by the Sharks in the 4th round in 2001. Went on to play for Vancouver, Buffalo.
Pricing.
No, not Tom Pricing.
Shit, no. Fuck. Oh, Ehrhoff. Derp.
Hey,
I get him
Christian
confused.
Ehrhoff.
I get him confused. My bad.
Christian Ehrhoff is 5th in goals for Germans in the NHL.
He was an OFD.
I remember him more as a Sabre.
Most people do.
it's true.
I remember him as a Shark.
The final
turnover machine.
Final member of the top 5. He's 3rd. Played for the Sabres, the Oilers for a cup of coffee, and the St. Louis Blues.
Wait, I think I know this.
Late 90s, early 2000s.
Never mind, I don't know this.
Goat head era Sabres.
I was gonna say, what's it? Fucking, who's that guy that Architect absolutely fucking hates and played for the Sabres? And he has
all of them.
No, Ville Leno. That was gonna be him.
Not Ville Leno. So the top 10 then. It's Draisaitl, Sturm, Jochen Hesch, Marcel Gotch, Ehrhoff, Uwe Krupp, Tobias Reeder.
Toby.
Number 8 is Dennis Seidenberg, 9 Dominic Cahoon, and currently top 10 all time in goal scoring in the NHL for Germans with 26 goals, Tim Stützle.
He's already there.
Top 10.
Oh my god.
Oh,
How ridiculous is that? That's the reason why I wanted to recap this. I'm like, how the hell is he top 10 all time?
not a whole lot of German representation in the NHL, apparently.
Well, that's going to change
There have been
soon.
Quant Hockey has 44 Germans of all positions to have ever played in the NHL.
It's so small. That's what she said.
Yeah, you'd think it'd be. Think there would have been more.
Well, the development's getting a lot better, like especially the World Junior team and their national team program. It's getting a lot better. I think because obviously you have Draisaitl there mentoring the younger kids who aren't really that much younger than fucking Leon. So like it's kind of like, oh yeah, it's coming a long way. I think
Getting lots better with mein stick.
Jesus.
Oh my god.
Everybody, thank you for listening to another edition or watching. I'm sure you enjoyed this podcast if you were watching because Endo was up to some shenanigans. Thank you guys for supporting the podcast. We do thank you. We will be back this Tuesday. No idea who Endo and I will be here with. It might just be the two of us. We shall see. Time will tell. But Sin, as always, great having you on the pod every Friday.
Yeah.
Let the people know where they can find you and what you're up to.
Yeah, I mean, you guys can find me on the YouTube at Sin for the Win Productions. We'll be starting a new franchise mode pretty soon. It will be, by the way the poll's going, the Vancouver Canucks. So that should be pretty interesting. And of course, all the members will be back in there with their new prospects, new randomized potentials, and all that. You can follow me on Instagram at Paul Cinders, and I'll be posting a bit of my life and some music there, especially. And I'll be launching the YouTube music channel eventually to hopefully just after or just before my first solo gig on April 3rd. So.
Oh, damn. Congrats.
Yeah.
Endo, you mentioned you were streaming more often. What do you got going on?
Nothing really, honestly. I shitpost. That's me. Endo Mills, the shitposter. You can catch me live every day. New times, actually. Sometime early in the morning before 10 o'clock on weekdays. And then after that, around like 3, 4, 5-ish. It's not really set in schedule. It's mostly whenever I'm waking up for work. And then after work, I go for a few hours because I'm like, I'm not doing anything. So far, numbers have gone up, so that's always great. Perfect. Give it the Go Grapes thumbs up. And you want to follow me on Twitter, Endo Mills, that's Twitter, Endo Mills, Twitch, YouTube, all that fun stuff. Hopefully coming soon. So that's me.
And for me, this weekend is very busy. This Saturday, 2 p.m. Eastern, over on twitch.tv/Lazarus. You can catch me alongside my buddy Mr. Grizgol doing kind of not necessarily the play-by-play, but doing the broadcast coverage for Lazarus in their event, the Chevrolet Good Deeds Cup NHL 22 Shootout Showdown. So very interesting to see a kind of shootout take front and center stage. But we will be on that broadcast alongside celebrity judges. Gold medalist Sarah Nurse, Mr. Steve Dangle, not the airplane you might hear in the background, and Mr. Arda Ocal. So that's going to be cool as shit to be able to work alongside everybody involved there.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And this Sunday, I have Grizz to thank for this. And No Sleeves for taking a vacation. But as well, this Sunday, same time actually as this, another 2 p.m. start. I'll be live on my channel, of course, twitch.tv/Tougie24 with my first charity stream of the year after our success this past December, working alongside a company by the name of Soft Giving. I've entered an agreement with them. Of course, we raised almost $11,000 for the American Cancer Society about a week before Christmas, which is still insane. That's why I ended up bald. And this time out, there's a reason why I'm trying to let the hair grow out a little bit, because we are raising money for Hope for the Day. They try to help make mental health care more accessible to everybody in need. We're looking to raise money there. And of course, if we hit our goal, well, this time we won't be shaving the head. But top donor gets to decide hairstyle and color. My girlfriend's dreading it already. I kind of am too. But at the same time, on Tuesday, you might see me, I don't know, with a pink mohawk. For all I know, this could be ridiculous. But again, make sure to tune in for that, 2 p.m. Eastern this Sunday. It might be another 2-part stream where we have some afternoon time and some late night hour time as well to kind of maximize eyes on what we're trying to do. So again, we will see you this Tuesday. Thank you guys so much for supporting the show, and goodbye.
One thing as well, too. This is a late edition. Please tell me you kept it in there. Please tell me it's still recording. You stopped recording, didn't you?
Yeah, just go.
You kept it? Oh, yeah. If we raise 15K, I'm going to shave my fucking head and get that undercut, baby. Officially confirmed. Put it in there. Big Nate. Big Nate, who donated a decent amount. God bless your soul last time. Says, I'm like, hey man, I'm looking for a new chair for my desk. He sends me the barber's chair. He's like, yeah, sit in it. I'm like, yeah, now I guess it's gotta happen. Yeah.
There you go. So not just my hair on the line. And Sin's putting his goatee on the line.
No.
He's not. He's not, everybody. He's not.
Like, get me out of this shit.
I quit the show.
I'm a donator.
There you go.